Oh my gosh. The man is in the building. Our Congressman Clay Higgins just dropping by. Congressman, thanks for stopping by.
Man, Miss Carol, you know I'm not going to miss a chance to give you some Easter loving and blessing.
Oh, but we're so lucky too because the beautiful Becca is here.
Yeah.
Hey, beautiful Becca.
We're on the bike today. Right?
Oh, you are on the bike
Just
today?
Harley kind of a day going.
Oh, it's spectacular.
Obligation to obligation.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're not going to keep you long, but I want to talk a little bit about all the insanity going on in D.C. You did get that continuing resolution passed, right? I mean,
yeah, I want to see all some time ago, but we got the budget resolution.
The budget resolution.
Yeah. And
So now
it was a heavy lift.
I know.
Yeah, to get that done because we had to force the Senate to comply with the House parameters of committing to decreasing by $1.5 trillion, and the Senate had only committed to $4 billion of, so essentially
Seems
zero.
kind of paltry, yeah.
Yeah, like worse than bad, man. It was insulting. So a handful of us, stood our ground. Freedom Caucus as usual, and
I know it surprised everybody.
They insisted.
Yeah.
They insisted in the White House. The president's people, Russ Vought, he's the head of OMB, Office of Management and Budget, brilliant guy and a deep conservative. And over the course of a few days, we got just with meeting after meeting, we got the White House in alignment with the Freedom Caucus through just diplomatic effort and with our combined influence and respectful voice with our Senate colleagues. They ended up agreeing that it was wise to commit to $1.5 trillion in decreased spending, which, let me tell you, the $1.5 trillion sounds like a lot, but it's over 10 years. So you're only talking about $150 billion a year. And we're currently running, almost $2.5 trillion deficits per year. So all this battle over decreasing spending only by $150 billion a year, it's really what we're doing is we're cracking the seal on the trajectory that the establishment machine has enjoyed comfortably for several decades. That's just a continued growth of government, no matter who's in charge. So just by breaking that paradigm, mm-hmm. we have it was a significant win.
I think DOJ, all the grift that they're uncovering, all the fraud and the corruption that they're uncovering, how much do you think that helped? Just a little bit,
Well, that's not counted. In our number, that's not part of the $1.5 trillion savings with reduced spending. The DOJ we're estimating is going to find about $250 billion, about $250 billion in fraud and theft.
Yeah.
So you find, we're finding it like 25 million here, 38 million there, 100 million the other place, and then to find it. And then to identify it and then to shut it down, that requires specific executive action and then congressional follow-up to that executive action. So
what I meant was the impact, the psychological impact of DOJ finding all of this corruption and maybe adding a little impetus, to you guys saying we can make these cuts because look what we're uncovering here.
Exactly. Yeah. So, we're not talking about decreasing crucial government services to our elderly and our poor. I'm a champion for our elders and I'm a compassionate man. So I think it's part of the Christian principled the way America operates is that we take care of our poor and our disabled, our needy, and certainly our elders. So we're not talking about decreasing any of that. We're talking about rooting out and eliminating the programs and the people that have been stealing from those compassionate programs that we have.
And getting away with it. The other thing, because I think that you didn't get enough credit for the work that you did to get the Social Security fairness restored. With other people have taken credit for it, but you have been working on that for a long time.
8 years. I worked for 8 years, and then nobody made more noise about it than me, and I brought tremendous pressure to bear.
So Becky, you got to teach him to toot his own horn more, because I've been watching this, and who gets, somebody else gets credit in their letter to the editor, but I know who's been working on it for all this time, and you need to learn how to do that more. Toot your own horn.
This old tiger not going to change his stripes very much.
Well, you've been doing a lot of other things, and what I really like is the protection of food, of our seafood industries and all that, because there's been a lot of garbage coming in from overseas, and I think people you've been pushing for that for a long time too.
Yes, ma'am, for years as well. That we introduced legislation back in the 115th Congress to protect the seafood industry in the entire country, but largely it impacts Louisiana because we produce so much seafood. But there's been literally billions and billions of pounds every year of tainted seafood coming into our country, and we only test 1/100th of 1% of the seafood that comes into our country, and it has biological and chemical elements in it that are harmful to our health. And the only reason we don't get visibly sick when we eat is because we cook it. But this stuff has long-term health effects, and for our economy, it has crushed the American seafood industry for many years now, because they're producing this product with the slave labor and horrible conditions, and they flash freeze it, package it, and send it over here, and they hide. They use labeling to move it from country to country, and they lie about its country of origin on the.
I noticed
label,
that
so.
they're running it through other countries. That's like right. Ecuador and South America and all that, and labeling it as from Ecuador, but it's not. It's actually from China or from the Far East somewhere.
Yeah. If it was up to me, I wouldn't let any of it in. None of it.
Oh, let's work on that.
They've gotten away with it for too long, and not just seafood, but many other products have come into our country. They've been taking advantage of us for a long time.
All right,
we finally have a president that's doing something about it.
I like that. That transitions to tariffs. What's your stance on the tariffs? Because he's been pretty aggressive about it.
The president knows what he's doing. He's working these other nations in ways that they've never been handled like that before. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've been getting away with running over American interests, and literally we're giving them hundreds of billions of dollars through the years to do things in their country. We're just giving them American treasure. Meantime, they're stealing more American treasure by putting tariffs on our products. They're restricting our products. Like if you go to some of these countries where you have popular cars here, foreign cars, German cars, Japanese cars, there's no American cars there. Right. Because they're tariffed out. They keep them out. Like you go to those countries that people are driving, mostly vehicles from that country, that region. So the American trade imbalance, we've known about it for a long time. But we finally have a president now that is courageous enough to deal with it. And these countries are coming. They're coming hat in hand to D.C. 75 or 80 countries have contacted the president within a couple of days of hitting these tariffs. Last will be China. Yeah. China's a big problem.
Well, because they keep fighting back and saying, but she is in serious problem. I mean, going back to the Evergrande scandal with their real estate, several years ago, where it just was totally collapsing. But you never get the true stories out of China. But it's really bad.
State-controlled media.
It's bad.
They ain't got no Carol Ross over there.
Oh, no,
you understand?
No, Carol Ross would be in jail. Carol Ross would be under the jail.
So all the evidence, the testimony against the Communist Party leaders in China, when they surface, they disappear.
Yeah, exactly. But there's something else I want to talk to you about, because you did a deep dive into what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. You went there, and we're still not getting the whole story on that. Can you give us any more enlightenment as to who backed this kid? This kid and the guy, Ruth, the other guy who went to Ukraine and all that, the other attempted assassin, they both were in a commercial by BlackRock. And people can't believe that's a coincidence. What else have you found out about that? Can you share anything with us? Because, the American people feel like we're just lied to all the time about these issues, some really crucial issues. We're mature enough to handle it. We've seen it. In fact, I think the speculation by most people is worse than probably what the truth is.
Yeah, you're right. So here's the thing. I investigated the Butler shooting very, very deep. And as you know, and the last section of the official report from Congress last year was my section. It was called Other Viewpoints. And it's so the last 25 pages of the official report, that is my report. Mm-hmm. I'm the only member of Congress that has a unique section in the official report on the attempted assassination in Butler, Pennsylvania. And so probably, honestly, nobody in the country knows more about that shooting than me. And I can tell you, this will make some of my more conservative conspiracy theorists, of which I'm one, angry with me. But this guy operated on his own in Butler. Crooks did, Thomas Crooks. But what made him become a shooter is where you can let your conspiracy mind run wild, because I don't know. I don't know how he became a shooter. On his operations, what he planned and what he did, and operating that day on J-13 and the bombs that he made, all of that, he did on his own. But how he became the guy that did that stuff on his own,
right,
I don't know. The coroner, interestingly, you'd be fascinated by this. You're a smart lady, you know a lot about medicine. Why would the coroner not
cremate the body?
Well, the FBI did that. Yeah, it's true. They cremated it, so we can't go back and look at it. But why would the coroner not screen his blood for antidepressant and antipsychotic drugs? This is a fascinating.
Why has nobody talked to his parents? Why has no one?
The FBI interviewed his parents. I didn't. The parents would not interview with me. I spoke to their attorney at length, and the only member of the task force that spoke with their attorney at length. I went to his gun club, and I've met with those men for hours. I sat in the seat where he trained with his rifle on that rifle range at that gun club. So I did my best to I went to his neighborhood, I went to his home, I went to his schools. I interviewed people on the board for the university that had accepted him, because he was a brilliant engineering student.
Apparently so.
Yeah, he was a smart young man with a bright life. And he had just, not even a year before he tried to kill our president, he had been accepted to the top engineering studies, advanced studies in college in Pennsylvania. And
what makes a kid descend that deeply?
That is the question, Miss Carol. So that's where I honestly can tell you listeners that I do not know. But I promise you this, I'm trying to find out. And it is requiring a deeper investigative dive for me, because it's quite mysterious. I mean, I'm even looking at cell towers. I'm the only one that mapped out all the 5G towers around his home and his gun club and the restaurants where he went, and his drives going to the gun club. Why would I map out 5G towers? Obviously, because I'm an investigator. I want to know these things.
That brings up another point that some people are trying to say, that there was a shooter on the tower, and that's who really shot.
There was none.
That line of sight was...
There was nobody on the tower.
Yeah. Okay.
Nobody on the tower.
I'm
there was
okay with that.
Nobody else there that day. It was him on his own that day. But
the before and after.
But how he came to be the guy that operated on his own on J-13, that's a mystery I have not yet solved.
All right. What about all of these deportations?
They're going to be ongoing. I mean, let me tell you what's working right now. Bigger than we thought.
In relation to
self-deportation.
Yeah, I hear that.
Very well.
I hear that too. Yeah,
they're rolling out.
That's a brilliant idea.
Scores of thousands.
Yeah, great idea. But what about these judges always trying? That Judge Boasberg, what a joke! I mean, it's like he's defying the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has said that the president has the right to do this, and now he's saying, "I'm going to hold you in contempt."
And some of these judges, we're looking at impeachment. At the judges, I have impeachment of a judge. Several members of the Freedom Caucus have impeachment articles that we're sitting on because we're trying to develop a cohesive strategy through the House and the Senate that doesn't just get, if you have a one-off here and one-off there, attempted impeachment, they go nowhere. Like, you have to have a deeper strategy, and that's where it becomes difficult to get the buy-in for the Judiciary Committee members in the House and the Senate, and develop like a streamlined process of who do we agree we're going to impeach based upon what articles and like how many articles.
So set precedent with that.
To get rid of one or two of these guys.
Right.
And we're even looking at another mechanism that the brilliant Andy Biggs came up with. I think I shared that with you on the thread of not using impeachment, actually using Article 3, Section 1, that says that a federal judge appointed and confirmed will serve for the duration of his good behavior. And so this is an untested...
Man, that'll get rid of half of them.
Yeah, like who determines the good behavior?
That would be a great test case.
We would argue that Congress does, because Congress established a course, and Congress has the authority to appoint, to confirm judges. And so we believe that, although it's untested in the history of our country,
we live in amazing times. If there's a time to do it,
we're trying.
Now's the time.
Andy Biggs and I was the first one to join him. We're going to attempt to remove a judge using the power that we believe we have through Article 3 to essentially resolve as a Congress that this particular judge is not operating according to the standards of good behavior. And that only requires a simple majority vote in the Senate and no trial.
Oh, that is awesome.
So it's just a simple majority vote.
All right. I know we've interrupted your day of motorcycle riding, and we're hitting a hard break here. And I appreciate you coming by so much, Congressman. It is Easter week. It's a blessed time of year. We bless you and your beautiful Becca, and thank you for your service to our area, to our country.
Blessed Easter to all your listeners, and love you and respect you. And thank you for allowing me to be on your show today.
Oh, it's an honor and a pleasure.
Yes,
thank you, sir. All right, we'll be right back on the Ross Report. Don't go away. Every metal thunder.